A Senate hearing just turned into a fiscal war. Scott Bessent says 1.4 million migrants are currently on Medicaid. Bernie Sanders, of course, by default, pushes back here, right? But the real issue here is not the shouting, guys, all right? It's whether federal healthcare spending can stay at the same pace, right? Like, is it sustainable at the current immigration levels, guys? Is it? No. Let's counter it.
My understanding is the Trump administration has, I think, 13 billionaires in office right now, leading government agencies. Is that about right, do you think?
I have no idea, Senator.
I think that's what the number is. Do you think it's a coincidence, given the large number of billionaires in the Trump administration, that this particular piece of legislation would provide $235 billion in tax breaks to the top 0.2% by expanding the exemptions in the estate tax?
Senator, I will tell you that when the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed, my tax rate went up.
Well, I don't know your exact situation, but I can tell you. Tell me about how many people do you think are in the top 0.2%?
Sorry?
Number of people in the top 0.2% who would benefit from this particular $235 billion tax break.
Well, I know the top 10% is
right.
now paying 7%.
That's not the question.
Of the total tax.
My question is, why do you think at a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, when people like yourself economically have never ever had it so good, why do you think it's a good idea to cut Medicaid for low-income and working-class people by $700 billion to give $235 billion in tax breaks to the very, very, very richest people in this country, perhaps a few hundred families? Please justify that and tell me about that.
Well, Senator, I don't know, but the Democrats had the trifecta, and there was no tax increase or wealth tax on billionaires. You choose.
I'm not talking about a tax.
You chose not to do that.
Mr. Bessent, I am not talking about a wealth tax. Explain. A few hundred of the wealthiest families in this country, $235 billion tax break. Explain to the American people why you think that's a great idea.
I think that this will increase small businesses substantially. That most small businesses, they are...
Has zero to do, come on, you're smarter than that. This is the top 0.2%. This is not a mom and pop store. These are multi-billionaires, and the savings go to their kids after they pass away. This is nothing more than a gift to billionaires in this country.
Well, sir, that's just not correct, because the top 10% paid a bigger share of taxes after TCJA.
I'm talking about one provision in this. I don't want to argue with you about taxes in general. One provision, few hundred families, $235 billion in tax breaks. You can't justify that because morally it is totally unjustifiable. Let me ask you another question. If you guys want to cut $1 trillion in Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, the estimate from CBO, I believe, is that over 15 million people lose their health insurance. Yale University and University of Pennsylvania estimated that when you throw that many low-income and working-class people off of health care, some 50,000 people a year will die. Tell me why you think it's a good idea to give tax breaks to billionaires and allow 50,000 low-income and working-class people to die unnecessarily?
Senator, first of all, that's overstated by 5.1 million. That is not attributed to this bill. It is simply
It's a combination. That's true.
No. You all had a scheduled expiration of Obamacare subsidies, and you did not extend that when you were in charge. 5.1 million.
This is valid.
1.4 million illegal aliens on Medicaid.
All right, look,
and there are work requirements. And our goal is to get more money to children and mothers.
Really? Your goal is to get more money to children, and working people. Really, come on.
As the confrontation drew to a close, Scott Bessent emerged as the adult in the room, refusing to be intimidated by Bernie Sanders' theatrical grandstanding and manipulated statistics. While Sanders deployed his usual socialist playbook of class warfare and emotional manipulation, Bessent stood firm
that is happening
with facts, economic reality, and a clear vision for American prosperity that rewards work over dependency. The numbers Sanders threw around were designed to terrify, not inform. Bessent systematically dismantled each one. The 15 million losing insurance? Inflated by 5.1 million from policies that expired under Democrat control, policies Sanders and his party chose not to extend when they had the power. The characterization of estate tax reform as only benefiting a few hundred families. A deliberate misrepresentation that ignores how these changes protect family farms, small businesses, and multi-generational enterprises from being destroyed by the death tax. The claim that work requirements would hurt vulnerable Americans? An insult to the millions of hard-working Americans who play by the rules and don't want their tax dollars subsidizing those who refuse to work. Bessent's most devastating revelation exposed the core hypocrisy of Sanders's entire argument. 1.4 million illegal immigrants currently receiving Medicaid benefits while American citizens are told there isn't enough money to go around. This single fact obliterates Sanders's moral posturing. Democrats created a system that prioritizes non-citizens over American workers, then have the audacity to lecture about compassion and fairness. Bessent's willingness to state this uncomfortable truth demonstrated exactly the kind of courage America needs in its financial leadership. What Sanders called morally unjustifiable, Bessent recognized as economically essential. America cannot tax and spend its way to prosperity. Confiscatory tax policies don't just hurt billionaires, they destroy the incentive structure that drives innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation. When successful people can keep more of what they earn, they invest in businesses, create jobs, and generate economic growth that benefits everyone. This isn't trickle-down economics, it's basic common sense that Sanders's socialist ideology refuses to acknowledge.
Bro, okay. I just wanted to get all the information here. Like, understand this here. The fact that there are so many people that are legitimately illegal in this country here, and they are utilizing our tax dollars, it's a little bit wild here. Should it be a thing? Absolutely not here. Is the right pushing it? No, the left is pushing it. So that's not like a super crazy way to define specifically them. They are the ones who are pushing this ideology. They're the ones that are completely fine with the idea of some egalitarian nightmare type system here, where everyone basically has the same amount of money, and it basically kills the idea of innovation, like the guy here or the AI here at the end here basically dictated. Yeah, they're not wrong here, right? When you start giving things to people consistently, or you start overly taxing people that are making a good amount of money here, a lot of money, an exorbitant amount of money, let's say, then why would they want to, even attempt to innovate any longer? What's in it for them? There's nothing in it for them. This is why the idea of meritocracy, I will basically stand on it, is basically where we need to kind of, maintain, because listen, bro, if you're given everything, you're not going to work for anything, right? Now, what are you actually making? Give things to people that are actually kind of, moving in some type of like upward mobility type of path. If someone needs help and they obviously have all of the tools and characteristics, let's say, to actually make it to the top of their game, I think these people should be helped, not specifically the ones who are just drains on our society and our culture. All right. That's not really beneficial. That's absolutely counterproductive. You're not really helping them. You're basically coddling them. You're numbing them for the most part here. Right. Are the individuals that we are wasting money on in this country absolutely going to benefit the United States of America within a decade or 2 decades? Guys, no, they're going to be in the same exact position. Not everyone, obviously, because again, there are some people who absolutely have the drive. They just need specifically a leg up. And this is kind of why I always say here, it's not a good idea to completely get rid of it, but I do think that there definitely needs to be like a time limit placed on it, unless you can obviously see that the person has changed a good amount of how about this here? A good amount about them, let's say, while they were on this government assistance, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, there are caveats for that because people seem to think that I'm cold and callous here. I do think that if you are under 18 and that's the situation that is needed to kind of bring you to fruition, let's say this year, or to reality, then good job. We can help you out. If you are elderly in some way, that also should be it. But I mean, that also should be based on how much you've actually put into society while you were aging. Hopefully you didn't waste your entire life and then expect for us to say, you know what, hold on. We got to pay for this person who did nothing in their life. That's crazy. All right. And then obviously if you were handicapped, that may be completely different. That's just completely different. If we got to help someone because they were born with some type of ailment or condition, I get it. Or something happened in their life that put them in like a wheelchair and they need some help because you get what I'm saying here, guys. Amputees. I think I'm fair. All right. But guys, giving it away willy-nilly to people that will legitimately never benefit our country is silly to me, bro. It's silly. Okay. I get it. Bernie Sanders likes the idea of wealth taxes. He loves it, right? The idea of estate taxes and things like this here, basically referring to like taxing trusts and irrevocable trusts, et cetera, right? Why are we doing that, guys? All right. Think about how trusts have been used historically, and understand this here. People seem to I guess be under the assumption that you have to be absolutely wealthy, right, to have a trust, bro. There's no limit for the most part to start a trust. You can start one tomorrow. They generally are from like what, $250 to $5,000, depending on how complex your assets are. Let's say this here, guys. All right. You can go start a trust right now with a I don't know, a car, a title. You get what I'm saying here? You can start it because it has some type of value, bro. Start a trust. I paid my car off. Well, let me go start a trust so no one can take it from me. Hey, listen, right? It's just the fact that Bernie Sanders is under the assumption that the only people that know how to manage their estates are billionaires is troubling to me. At his gigantic age, and him not fully grasping that anyone can do it is weird, okay? Guys, Google irrevocable or revocable trust. You can have a living trust, that type of thing. Do your thing, live your best life, secure your assets, and get them out of public view. All right? Your goal should be to make $12 a year. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.